because it's like a tea kettle. It's like, I'm about to lose it.
You're listening to the Laughing Couple podcast with your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy. Join them weekly as they discuss topics such as relationships, kids, sex, parenting, all unfiltered and all with a healthy dose of laughter. Please welcome your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy.
That was such a weak ass clap.
The first one was so bad.
It was really bad.
I don't even know where I learned that.
I don't know either. I think that you just
like a Hollywood set or something. Oh, no. You know what it was? Early.
Oh, no.
When we very first started, wow, we're going to start off with a banger. When we first started this podcast.
And we're going to end it with how we banged the first time.
Are we?
We're going to tell that story.
I don't think so.
I think we should.
Okay. We came in with a bang. We came out with a bang. When we were first starting this podcast, I didn't know how to podcast. I went onto YouTube to learn how to podcast, and that's what they recommended.
Syncing the audio?
Well, just to clean up the beginning and the end. So create a clear space of sound, big massive spike.
Works great. It's
and
our
then
thing.
Clear space for you to clean out all the echo in the background. Anyways, it's what I learned.
Good to know.
See, guys, if you don't know what you're doing, just jump on YouTube. Start a podcast. That's what we did.
Okay, so we're gonna get to it. We got I Love You and You're Annoying.
Yeah.
We got a just situation that happened this weekend.
Recapping?
I like to do this. I like to give a little rundown.
Do you know every time you do this, we never talk about the things that you recap?
Yeah, but I think it's a good idea to keep us on track, and then everyone knows what they're getting into.
But you never do.
Are you done?
Okay.
I Love You and You're Annoying.
Well, I know
Something
what mine
that happened
is now.
this weekend. Something that happened this weekend that was really frustrating, and we learned about ourselves when we're out in public. A couple parenting, just like frustrations. We have a couple stories from our parents when they were when we were young, and we're going to tell some situations that we're dealing with right now, and then we're going to end, if we have time, which Ryan doesn't think we do. With the very first time we had the boom boom, because Ryan doesn't know if we
ironic?
remember.
Ryan doesn't think we're going to have enough time.
Yeah. What?
For boom boom.
Well, no, that would be the other way around.
Right.
Brittany doesn't.
I said, ain't that ironic?
Don't you think?
A little too ironic.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do think.
So do you have...
Shall we go for it? You go first. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, I started last time.
That's nice.
You interrupted and
Okay.
added to yours. So.
I think I'm going to choose... So it's hard because you kind of fixed it today, but it was annoying. I find sometimes when
What did I do today?
you put up the TV mount,
Oh, yeah.
but you took that out last weekend.
Yeah.
And I said, can you make sure that this doesn't sit on this table
Yeah.
the entire week? Because I have stuff that I have to do here.
Yeah.
And it did.
Yeah, it did.
You just have a tendency sometimes to start things and then you leave them out, or like they don't fully get finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really annoying. That's it. But you did do it today, because I was like, can you fucking put this thing up?
You didn't say that at all. I just
did it in my head. No, I did. I said, can you put this up today? And you said, oh, well, you've got to keep the kids away, and like I'll keep them downstairs and it's going to take a while. Those were your words. Because I asked you to do it. You wouldn't have done it if I didn't ask you.
Those were accurate words.
And I asked you. Yeah, and then hold on. Mine actually continues. It's
Jesus.
Immediately when you do anything of like around the house and
Physical labor.
and you
Go
need
ahead,
my
say
help,
Say it.
and you need my help with something, you are like an ass, like right away. Like your tone changes. Like you asked me to hold the TV. I didn't really know what was happening, and you were just so mad for no reason. So I just don't talk.
I find that this is going to sound so mean, but I was saying this to your mom the other day. I said, I find that you lack like certain, what one would consider like obvious common sense around lifting things and picking things up.
Wow.
There's a rack and there's a hook on both sides. So when you pick something up and you have to put it on something, one would instantly think you had to put the hook onto the rack.
Yeah, but you worded it like, is it hooked in? I'm thinking, is there a hole, or does it just sit on the top?
I don't know. I don't know if it's hooked in. Well, Brittany, I can't drop this goddamn TV. Can you tell me if it's hooked in or not?
Wouldn't you rather me
hook?
ask instead of just fucking dropping the TV?
Obviously.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make
common
sure
sense would indicate that the hook that goes on to the rack needs to be hooked in.
Again.
And when someone says to you, is it hooked in? You think, yeah, that hook is on the rack.
Okay, I have
and
literally...
for those of you who are listening, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was not.
Yes, it was.
Not at the time.
Yes, it was. And I've never hung up a TV before, first of all. And when I asked you, all I wanted to know was, am I putting that little hook into like a hole, or is it just resting on the top? Like, that's a stupid one.
So stupid.
You're rude.
What do you mean that was a stupid one? That's not even mine.
Then you're stupid. That's a stupid thing to say. I lack common sense with like lifting.
Brittany, I love you. You want to know what's really annoying?
Oh, God.
I think I've already said this. And I think I said this like recently, but it's becoming like glaringly obvious to me. Whether it's me or the kids, wherever you are, you call our names or you say something to us and you start a sentence and nobody can hear you. And it is like we are all required to walk anywhere closer to you. Hey, Brittany, I can't hear you. Well, I'm upstairs. I know. That's why I can't hear you. Are you coming up so that you can hear me?
That's literally never what I say.
No, you just sit there and wait for someone to show up.
Yeah, you yell all the time too. Babe,
Yeah.
babe.
And then if you don't hear me, I come to you.
And same.
When you are the human being that is trying to deliver a message, it is the requirement of that person to bring the message towards the person who's listening, not the other way around.
I'll work on that.
I would love for you to work on that.
I will. I think that is like I think
so
when I'm
annoying.
when I'm yelling at you or the kids for something, it's because I'm fucking doing something for you guys.
You have food on your hand.
Because I'm doing something for you.
You have food on your hand. Ew.
Just like broke my wrist.
What?
You have food on your
You
hand.
have food on your hand.
Anyways, it's usually because I'm like screaming your name because I'm annoyed. Like I'm picking up your socks or I'm doing someone's laundry. So I'm just like, these fuckers.
You know, Brittany,
I'm just a slave.
I think you're a bit of a gaslighter.
Okay.
I think you're a bit of a gaslighter. I can't say I love you and you're annoying without you turning it around and making it something that I did that was annoying.
The first thing I just said was I will work on that.
Yeah, and the second thing you said is when I do it, it's because I'm doing something that's annoying that you're doing. Like I had to pick up your socks.
This is what we do though. We banter back and forth.
Oh, is that what we do? Yeah. No, that's called gaslighting.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No, I said that's annoying.
Oh, yeah, it is
I'll
annoying.
work on that.
Right on. Okay. Well, now that we're through that mess.
Ryan and I are honestly like, it's taking everything in me to do this podcast right now because we've just had a weekend of just like mini children terrorists all weekend. And I don't remember the last time it was like they were this bad to each other.
Shitty.
Like, honestly, I don't remember the last time they were like this. And I just have, like, I'm so drained of everything right now. Like, I'm trying so hard. I'm just like tired. I feel like all weekend I just spent myself just like yelling at them. And I always go back where people are like gentle parenting, like they don't learn if they're not screaming. And I'm like, listen, I try to say things like multiple times, quiet, calmly. I'm trying to communicate. And they've taught me that they don't give a shit about what I say calmly. It's only when I lose it do they understand that, like, holy shit, like mom's serious. But okay, so let's talk about Saturday.
Well, hold on a second. I still want to stay on this subject for a second.
No, I am. It's just a continuation.
I literally Saturday before we went out, before we were going to get into the subject about what happened on Saturday, I laid in bed.
Yeah, no.
I laid in bed.
I wasn't talking about the evening. Like,
No, I
was
understand.
just like the day.
I get it. I laid in bed.
Yeah.
And I set my timer for 10 minutes. And I listened to the kids scream at each other. And I listened to you scream at them. And I took deep breaths in through my nose and out through my mouth. And I said, I'm not getting out of this bed for 10 minutes.
Thanks for your help.
Nope.
Like, I'm so glad for you.
30 minutes later, the kids are still at it. And I calmly walk up the stairs. And I said to the kids, have you heard me in the last 30 minutes? Riley's like, no. I said, have you heard a single word from me? She's like, nope. And I said, have you guys been yelling at each other for the last 30 minutes? And she said, yeah, we have been. I said, why do you think you haven't heard anything from me? And she says, I don't know. I'm like, because it's taking everything in me not to lose my goddamn mind. And as soon as the kids recognized that I was super calm. I
And,
think
like-
they got super scared.
Yeah.
They went in their separate directions. And I could honestly, my blood pressure was so high. I thought, dear God, I'm going to die today.
Yeah. It was
I am
wild.
going to die today. And then we got in the van.
No, this is worse. Like, so they were, I do find that the weekends are really hard because they push each other's buttons so bad right now. Honestly, 90% of the time it's Cooper. Like he wants attention, but like Riley is no innocent. Like she definitely.
He is no innocent.
She has no innocent.
She is no innocent.
She is.
An antagonist.
Yeah, she for sure is. But like, they're just so fucking loud.
Oh my
like,
God.
They're so loud. And honest to God.
When they're having fun,
I know. I'm like, I just want to let them have fun. But like, it gets to that
can
point where
fun be
like
quiet?
they reach that like loudness where it's like, this is going to turn any minute. I know it's coming because they just reach that level, that pitch where I'm like, someone's going to like, something is going to fuck up and it's going to be bad. So before everything went to shit, I was like, what are we going to do today as a familia?
Familia.
So I booked these tickets to go to see like a walkthrough light show with Christmas lights. And then they had like a voucher for dinner. And then we were going to take them to this arcade.
Decorating
cookies with Mrs. Claus. It was
and
like
burn s'mores.
amazing.
And it's like, are you kidding me? Mother of the year.
Right.
Right?
And then they were just like,
Fuck you guys.
and the worst part is like, I told them hours prior, I was like, guys, how fun is this going to be? So they knew it and they just shit on my plans. Like, I was like, what the fuck? So then Ryan and I are like struggling and you're trying to lower your blood pressure. And I
didn't even know I had high blood pressure
I was like,
until I'm like, why am I dizzy?
we've talked
Why
about
is
this
my
a couple
neck
times
hurting?
before.
Why is my face red?
But as a parent, when you're put in these situations where it's like you've booked these plans, you've spent the money, but you don't want to go. Like you want to teach them a lesson. And like, how do you get both? And honestly, there's going to be some times where you don't. Sometimes you're just going to be like, we have to eat this one because they do not deserve this. So unfortunately, these tickets and stuff were not refundable. So I was like,
you know what?
hey,
You know what really pisses me off about those tickets?
when like you're in the middle of talking. And
no, hold on
somebody
one
just-
second. Sorry. Like you can go back for 1 second. What pisses me off about these is they're non-refundable, but they're non-transferable.
Okay.
Like just change the date. Allow us to change the date.
Yeah. But
We paid for the damn thing. Just let us change the date. Is there like a number I can call that says like my kids are being fucking assholes? Can I change the date?
1-800. That was the Hunger Games.
I don't think that's the right whistle.
It is. That yeah, that's it. You always think that it's X-Files.
Yeah.
That's not either. Anyways, so hold on. So like going back
What
to
was
this,
that?
how do you as a parent teach them a lesson, but also not burn money in front of them? Because I was like venting on the gram and I was like, I like high key want to print these tickets out and say, kids, come outside. And I wanted to burn them in front of them and be like, what are you doing, Mom? I'm burning our time. See this? Memory's gone. Like I was so mad. And so I was like,
But
okay,
the
well, let's
voucher was
do.
on your phone.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. What
But
are
I
you
was
doing?
like-
I'm burning my new iPhone. What is that?
I said, this is what we're
Time.
going to do. I said, get your shoes on. We're going in the car. And then Riley's like, well, you said we weren't going. I'm like, we have dinner reservations. We're going for dinner. You need to eat. Your behavior during dinner time and on the way there will affect what we are doing after. And if you guys are acting the way that you're acting now after dinner, a nice family is going to be getting this experience and it's not going to be you. And they're going to have so much fun. Like when we got in the car, I felt like I deserved a medal because I gave them such a speech. And like every third word, I feel like you were like, yeah. What? That's what she said.
No, the truth is, I tried my hardest to just black out. Like, I spent not black out because I was driving, but like,
I know.
Honest to God, I was like, I just need to think of nothingness and try my hardest to breathe because I feel like I'm going downhill really quickly.
Yeah.
There's something physically happening to my body right now. The only thing I can think of is nothing. And then, for the love of God, Riley turns it around. Thank goodness she turns it
Yeah, she
around
did.
and she starts
Oh, yeah.
being funny by asking a million questions. But for some reason, she didn't ask you. She asked me.
This was at the restaurant though. Like
No,
it started
this
in
was
the car.
This was in the car.
I know.
Ask me a question about this, and then a question about this, and then a question about this, and I can't even think. Like
Yeah.
my brain is not thinking, so I'm literally just reacting to everything she's saying, and I'm doing it in like monotone.
Yeah.
Birds fly because they have wings.
But we were
But
at
why
the-
do they have wings?
but we
Because
were-
of evolution. What is evolution? Well, it's honest to God, I was like, I'm gonna lose my mind. I need her. I really need her to stop talking to me.
I was like legitimately crying at the restaurant because, and we'll go back to like that debacle, but we're sitting down and like, again, Ryan's still just like, she will not stop talking to you. She was like a motorboat, like just from the minute we got, like after she turned it around in the car all the way to the restaurant. And so at one point, Ryan looks at me.
She's still talking to me.
She's
at this
still
point.
talking.
Yeah.
And he looks at me dead ass in the eye and he whispers, he's like, why won't she stop? I want her to stop talking to me.
Yeah, I just want her to stop talking
And like
to
you
me.
were so serious and like you were like like what the fuck is happening? I was laughing so hard. And it's in those moments that like honestly, we were in the trenches, but I was just like, I really appreciate doing life with you because I can see the humor in those things. So it was like a fun little haha, like I see you. Like, and this is fucked up. But okay, can
you know when you're drunk,
yeah.
or when you're hot, like high, and you're like aware of what's going on around you, but you're recognizing that you're not part of any of it.
Yeah.
That is how I felt from the car ride to the end of dinner.
Yes.
Like I knew I was there and I was partaking in conversations.
You were just getting your blood pressure.
But I was not there. And I'm looking around at a bunch of other families and they're laughing and they're joking around. They're having a good time. And Jesus Christ, it was loud.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there's just noise coming from every direction. My blood pressure is through the roof. I'm thinking, now that I think about it, I'm thinking maybe I had a panic attack or something.
You literally did say to me, I think I might be having a panic attack.
Because like
In like the most monotone way.
because I could not collect myself. I could not gather myself. And I kept trying. I'm like, Ryan, in your head, I'm like, Ryan, it's over. They're not yelling at each other. Just breathe and get back.
In your defense, honestly, our shitty day did not end with the kids. Like I booked a reservation earlier in the day. Can we just etch a sketch and really quickly just sidebar about customer service? Can I talk about this story?
We've talked about it before,
I know,
but let's talk about it again because literally, what the fuck?
Honestly, God.
And I swore more on this podcast than I have in like
It's
6
bad.
podcasts.
So I called this restaurant in the afternoon and I'm like, hi, can I book a reservation for 5:30? No, I'm like, can I book a reservation? And the person online's like, or in the phone is like, you have to go on the website. I'm like, I can't do it over the phone. They're like, no. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So I hang up. I go to the website they give me. I cannot book online. I click a like giant dining in.
The website's crashed.
And it's broken. Like the link is broken. I'm like, okay. So I call them back. I'm like, hi, I just called. It won't let me book a reservation online. Can I just book one through here? And they're like, no, you have to do it online. I'm like, I physically cannot. Like your website isn't working right now. There's a broken link. Can I just talk to someone? Well, I don't really know how the website works, so I can't really help you. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like literally says, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm like,
I want to book a reservation.
I'd like to book a reservation. Is there someone else I could talk to? And I just actually watched a TikTok on this where it's like I hate that we live in a place right now where it's like, as soon as you say, as a female, as soon as I say, can I speak to your manager? I'm like,
Karen.
It's a fucking Karen. Or I just would like to be treated with some respect as a customer. Like, I just would like to speak to a manager who is a little bit higher up than you, who might know what to do if you don't. Like, that's not being rude. I'm just like, I really want to book a reservation.
If you don't know how to do your job, I'm
Yeah.
going to guess there's someone
Who does?
who does.
So
Can
they
we
were
speak
like,
to that
yeah,
person?
sure. I wait 5 minutes on the phone. The same person comes back. So I'll just do it over the phone because the website's down. I'm like, no shit. So I didn't say that, but I'm like, okay. They're like, what time? No, they go, so do you want to like dine in or do you want takeout? I'm like, it's a reservation. Are you high? And so
Are we high?
like, what's
happening?
I'm like, for 5:30. And they're like, okay, that's it. I'm like, do you need my name? Oh, yes. It's Brittany. Like,
Name,
oh, yeah, your
phone
name's
number.
Brittany. Yeah. How many? 4. For what time? 5:30. Fine. Okay. Everything's great. Then we arrive. Okay. And it's chaos at this place. And let me tell you, Ryan and I have a lot of patience for the service industry, specifically at a restaurant, because we spent years in a restaurant. So we have a pretty good understanding. And we never
Very
arrive.
empathetic.
Yes, we very much are. So I was like, oh, it's like really crazy. Maybe they're understaffed. So I go up to the desk and I'm like, hi, I have a reservation for 5:30. And this kid, and when I say kid, I mean like he was literally 11. He was like,
Probably wasn't.
he was 11. I swear to God, he was so young. And he was like, we don't, where's the iPad? And so then he like goes and looks for their iPad for a couple minutes and comes back and like kind of forgets about me. I'm like, hi, like, hello. And he's like, oh, like we lost our iPad. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I have a reservation for 5:30 for 4. And he's like, yeah, it's really busy right now. I'm like, okay. He's like, just give me a second. Leaves, comes back. There's no tables free. We'll get you seated as soon as we can, but it's really busy. I'm like, that's why I made a reservation. Like, still trying to be calm, but I'm also like, what the fuck? So he's like, well, when people come in, this is verbatim. When people come in and walk in the restaurant, we have to seat them. So if they take up a reserved table, we still have to seat them. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm clearly like, this kid, he's snowballing. He's trying to be like, I'm like, that doesn't really make any sense. Like, why would you take reservations? He's like, yeah, I guess it doesn't make sense. I'm like, okay. So he's like, let me figure it out. Then leaves, doesn't come back, like literally forgets about me again. I move to the side. I'm texting you. I'm like, I am going to lose my shit right now.
I wrote, and you know what? I said it in a nice way. I said, go get him, Karen. Go get him. Go get him.
I was so mad. I was like, I'm like, let me talk to somebody else. So then I'm waiting on the side and this couple comes up and they're like, hi, table for 4. This other dude is like, oh, let me figure it out. Goes to get the menus. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, excuse me. Hi there. Don't mean to interject, but I booked a reservation 25 minutes ago and I was told that they can't seat me because it's too busy. So just wondering if you could help me out. And he was like,
booked it way more than 25 minutes earlier.
Honest to God, what the fuck? Like, so then finally we get seated. It's fine. Then
everything was fine. The dinner was fine. The meals were fine. The service was fine. Mm-hmm. Nothing was wrong.
Nope.
I was a little bit taken back because the level of service around us, our server was pretty good.
Yeah.
But the level of service that was happening around us did not seem like a restaurant. Mm-hmm. The servers weren't in a uniform. They were kind of just all casually wearing their own clothes.
I honestly didn't know who worked there.
I'm like, what's happening here? Are we actually at a restaurant or is this kind of like a party city kind of thing, right? Anyways, Brittany prepaid for a gift card on this thing for this whole thing. This whole deal was like lights, camera, action.
You get a
food
$40 gift card to this restaurant for $30.
So you pay $30, you get essentially $10 extra on top of that.
Yeah.
So the server comes with the bill at the end and Brittany says, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you this. We have this thing. So he says, okay, well, I'll just show me it and then I'll write it down at the bottom. So he writes it down at the bottom. Now, keep in mind, I never saw the bill and you never saw the bill.
Right.
So he sees it. Okay. Yep. Takes it off, hands me the bill. I put my tip in.
No. Hands you the machine.
Hands me the machine. I put the tip in. No problem. I put it.
So you just saw the total.
I hand it back to him. He takes it and goes. Now, usually I take the receipt with me once it's gone through so that I see that it's processed and all that fun stuff. And I keep those things. I never got it. And I thought, oh, that was it. Whatever. I don't really need it, but whatever. So I'm sitting there and I look at the bill that's sitting on the table now. And I look at the bill and I'm like, I don't remember what I just paid for that, but something tells me that math didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I grabbed the bill. I'm like, So the server comes walking by. I said, hey, sorry, just a quick second. I'm like, I never got my receipt. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, no problem. I'll go grab you the receipt. Kind of like dishevelly, like not standoffishy about it. I'm like, okay, whatever. So he comes, he gives me the receipt. Well, now I look at it and I'm like, well, that math doesn't make any sense. He didn't take off.
So our bill was 64,
Yeah.
67, and
He
then
took $30 off, not $40 off. But we had already paid. It's not like it's off. We already paid for it.
Yeah.
But we got $40 off. He took $30 off, and I tipped him on top of it. So now I've already tipped him. I've already paid the bill.
Yeah.
And I've recognized that I've now paid him $10 more than I should have paid him. Now, $10 more is not crazy, but it's the principle of it. And so
Right.
I'm kind of like,
and we tipped pretty well.
yeah, I'm sitting here kind of thinking like, should I say something? Should I not say something?
I
I'm
was
like,
like,
I
I'm
think I
too
should
lazy.
say something.
Yeah.
So I bring him up. I'm like, hey, and it was kind of, I was honestly at that point in time, I was kind of just going to be like, hey,
Just so you know.
you did the math wrong on this. I wasn't going to ask for my $10 back, but I'm like, hey, just so you know, you did the math wrong on this. He's like, what do you mean? So I'm like, well, there's $40 off and you took $30 off. So you kind of did the math wrong. He looks at me and is like, okay. I'm like, okay.
Like you were annoying.
Yeah. And he's like,
For telling
so
him.
he looks at me, he's like, so
What do you
want? I'm like, now I'm like, well, I think I
Nothing,
want,
but now I want my
No,
money
I'm like,
back.
I think I want my $10 back. He's like, oh, and he goes into his little pouch and he takes $10 out and hands it to me and walks away,
Like, honest to God, I cannot.
which made me think, wait a second, did he do that math wrong on purpose?
Yeah.
Or did he recognize that he did the math wrong, thought he got himself an extra $10 tip and was pretty pumped about it, and now I just ruined his day? I don't
Either
know.
way,
I don't know, but I'm sitting here thinking, dude, like, you made the mistake.
I know.
I'm coming here. Now, he doesn't know I was coming there to collect $10 or not collect $10. Either way, you kind of stole $10 from me.
I think it goes back to like, it's such a classic, like, oh, the customer's always right. That is, I feel like, completely out the window. It's like the customer is always annoying now. Like, it's like if you have any issues, if something isn't going perfect, it's like, how dare you? How dare you ask for what you paid for?
I felt like I did something wrong.
Yeah. I just
And I'm
like,
sitting here thinking,
what a
like,
shitty day.
It's pretty, and I don't mean to be a dick. It's kind of easy math, but so did he do it wrong on purpose,
I don't
or did he
know.
make a mistake? Either way, what annoyed me, and I wouldn't even have asked for the $10 back.
But
except
his
for
attitude
he was
made
just
you-
he was
yeah.
like, white. So like, what do you want?
That's what you said. You're
I was
like,
like-
I would have been like, okay, so this is the difference, because in that industry, I've definitely done the math wrong before on a bill.
Happens.
Like, absolutely. And I'm like, so
Whole
apologetic.
numbers usually are easy though.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. Like, you're very apologetic. Like, that you don't want people to think that you did that on purpose or whatever.
You're also kind of embarrassed about it,
Exactly.
especially when it's a whole number.
And this way, it was the complete opposite. Like, I'm just
Which makes me believe that he did it
flabbergasted.
on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, but I will say this. So as an overarching thing in there, and this is what I'm like, now I'm kind of contemplating, are we just getting old and grumpy? Because I'll tell you, like, getting into that restaurant, and we've talked about this a couple weeks ago, I just think people are not used to
maybe
the
socially.
the social world and how it works. I'm walking through this path. There's a family to the right, and now because the family's to the right, this big path is now a little path, and there's only a little teeny path on the left. And this girl's coming at me, and I'm coming at her, so I do the right thing, and I slide to the right beside the family, and she stands in the pathway with the family. And I'm waiting for her to walk, and I'm waiting for her to walk. It's kind of like you think, oh, that awkward, like you go,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Only for me to realize she's with the family.
She was like, cool.
And I'm like,
can't go over it.
do you know I don't belong with this family, right? Like, this is your family. I'm standing here clearly trying to get this way. I'm like, excuse me, guys. And I just think as a whole, I'm like, am I in a Twilight Zone or like the Matrix, or is everyone around me just kind of like not aware of their surroundings anymore?
But you know what? I don't think, like, two things. I think you and I have always had a really big pet peeve with that, even before the pandemic.
Hated it.
Like, I cannot stand when people aren't aware of their surroundings.
Hate it when my kids do it.
Absolutely. But then on top of the pandemic, because people haven't really been out, I think that they truly are just like not aware. Like, same thing happened to Riley and I. We were going to the bathroom and there's a group of 6 people in the hallway just talking. And so we stop, they look at us, we can't get through, and then they continue talking. I'm like, Like, I'm literally trying to get to the bathroom. Like, what the? Excuse me. Like,
Honest
I
to
did
God.
say excuse me, but it's like, if you don't see them, fine. But you can't look at me and then not move. Like,
I don't get it. I don't get
anyway.
it. And you know, it gets worse. It honestly gets worse. You go into the arcade area and you say, hey, we've got these tickets for these arcades. And the girl's like, she looks at us and she's like, you got to go to the other side for those. We're like, don't you get your tickets here and collect your tickets here? Yeah, but we don't have a thing to scan that. I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. So you go up there, we scan these damn things. It is what it is. Then we go out to this light show.
and it's fucking
Now,
freezing.
keep in mind, there's 2 light shows.
But we were like, we're doing this. We paid for it.
So this is what's confusing me. This, I think, is what's confusing me about customer service. I don't think people are getting trained. Like, I really don't think they're getting trained. I think they're like, hey, listen, we're hiring people. Do you want a job? Sure. You'll
Right.
start there. Wear your elf
figure it
costume.
out.
And good luck to you. We get there. There's a girl at the front. She lets people in and out. She's in charge of everything. Well,
Yes.
I just hit the mic. So I had just gone to the washroom, and in the washroom, there's a big sign that shows the 2 different light shows, the one that you can walk through and the one that you can drive through. The one you can walk through is $11 a person. The one that you can drive through is less than $30 for the entire car, max of 8 people. Math would indicate that that's by far the bigger bang
It's
for your
also
buck.
way warmer.
And it's so much warmer.
It was
so
so
I go to
cold.
the girl at the front and I'm like, hey, listen, we got these 4 tickets. So there's 4 of us, $40, well, a little bit more than that, for us to go walk about. It's freezing. It's windy. I said, hey, is there any way that we can exchange these? I don't need any money back.
Right.
But can we just exchange these for the in your car one? And she says to me, and I quote, we're not doing the in the car one this year.
Hold on, there's a sign
And I'm like,
right beside her that's like, drive-through experience Christmas.
I'm like, pardon the fuck me? She's like, well, we're not.
No, you didn't say
I didn't
that.
say
Yeah,
that
yeah.
in my head. I'm
Yeah.
like, what? She's like, oh, we're not doing the in the car one, only the walking one. And I'm like, well, the sign right there would indicate that you are doing both of them. And the one that is in the car is actually less expensive.
Yeah.
I just want to do that one and not
Right.
freeze. And she's like, well, I'll be honest. I didn't even think we were doing that one this year. You're going to have to talk to someone else. I look around, someone else. There's no one
one here.
else. You're in charge of all
Everything
of
is
this.
just so understaffed. And like, again, we're very empathetic towards that, but it was just like one thing after the other. And then the kids played the arcade games and then they wanted to get their tickets so they could get a prize, right?
Yeah.
So the girl at the cash at the back counts,
yeah.
counts the tickets,
Oh,
counts the tickets. And she's like, okay, you guys have 184, what was it?
Yeah, the
100
kids didn't do so well.
No,
184 tickets. All these other
184
kids have like
tickets,
thousands.
right? So they're like, okay, like 90 each, right? So the kids are looking, they're looking. Then this girl is like, bye.
She
Like,
leaves.
My shift's over. So then the new girl comes and she's like, and we're like, okay, we'll take 2 fans and like 2 bubblegum things. She's like, can I scan your card? And we're like, oh no, the other girl did. She's like, well, I need to scan your card. We're like, no. Like she already did it.
You scanned and processed our cards
There is
already.
like you can't rescan them. Like there was no communication between like the new staff coming in. I was like, so then she's like, well, let me see if I can get another machine. So then she's leaving. The kids are fucking losing it.
The kids have
I look at
4
Ryan,
choices. They
I
have
look at
4
Ryan,
choices.
I'm like, Ryan, you need to figure this out right now or I'm going to climb over this thing and grab the fucking fans and we are leaving. And he was like, excuse me. And that dude came and he was amazing.
He's great. Great guy.
But it was rough. I was like, I'm not going to make it. Like, really, I'm not going to make it.
I'm like, kids, you're not getting that Chinese handcuff thing. Kids, you're not getting that fan. We're fucking leaving.
We're going. Like, it was such a terrible day.
Honestly.
But memories. #memories.
And you know what? Like, here's the thing. Now that I'm becoming a parent, well, not becoming a parent, I've been a parent for 8.5 years. Now that I'm a parent and now that my kids are getting a little bit older and they're becoming a little more annoying, my stress level's through the roof. Work is stressful. Life is stressful. Kids are stressful. I'm starting to understand some of the crazy shit that my mom and my dad did and said, and some of the crazy shit that you've told me about your dad and mom saying things and doing things.
Yeah.
I'm starting to recognize
You can appreciate it now.
this is why they were doing it.
Yeah. Like your dad punched a wall or punched a hole through the wall or something.
Yeah, right through the wall. My sister and I, in our house in Cambridge, when we lived in
How
Cambridge,
old were you?
I would have been 8. Yeah, I would have been 8 and she would have been 11. And we were upstairs. And I remember because our rooms, there was a little hallway. This is the only time that we had. Actually, Michelle and I always were across from each other. But we were across from each other with a long hallway in between each other. And I remember being in my room and her being in her room and us literally looking at each other and running at each other and meeting each other in the middle of the hallway to beat the shit out of each other. And we're fighting and we're fighting. And my dad comes around the corner and looks up. I'll never forget it because it scared the hell out of me. But now, Dad, if you're listening to this podcast, I totally get it. He looks up and he says, "Would you two shut the fuck up?"
Really?
And as he says that, he slams his fist, and all of a sudden, my dad's fist is in the wall. And he looks over at the wall and sees his fist in it, looks up at us, looks down at the wall. We go as fast as we went at each other, bing, into each other's rooms. Like I went into my room, she went into her room, the collective rooms.
Yes.
And we just stayed in our rooms. My dad, I don't know where he went, Home Depot or something, comes back with a hole patch and patches the wall. And I did not get out of my room that entire day. But I'm sitting here thinking, what's wrong with my dad?
Right. But
Are
it's
you kidding me?
It's because before that moment, he asked you 50 friggin' times to stop yelling, to stop like it's just, we're teaching, like, and we talked about this, like gentle parenting. Like I try to be calm. I try to communicate. My kids don't give a shit. It's only when I yell, it's only when I truly am mad. They're like, "Oh shit, mom's serious." No, like I was serious the first time. So you're teaching me that you learn when I'm like, when my mom voice comes and like, even that's not even working.
I'll tell you, all of these experts that are out there that tell you that that's not the way to go.
It's the only thing that's working.
Well,
it's really not.
I don't know if it's not the only way to go, but it seems to be the only way it's working, and it seems to be the only way it's going.
I know. It's just,
maybe we're failures at parents, but I'll tell you right now, that little teeny burst of like, what the fuck is what separates me from being alive and not being alive, because it's like a tea kettle. It's like, I'm about to lose it. Like seriously lose it.
Weirdest
and like
noise ever.
It was like Dumb and Dumber anal leakage.
I gotta tell the story of my dad quick and then we should wrap it up. So I remember my brother and I were just annoying that day, and then my dad was also having, I think, just an annoying day. Like he probably came home from
Stress,
work.
it sucks.
Stress as a parent. He also drove
Being an adult sucks.
and commuted to Toronto like for 20 years. So it was a lot. So he'd come home. And my brother and I were fucking around, and we had this big ball, like this big plastic ball that had like spikes on
toy.
it. Yeah, it was.
For
Hold
your
on.
120-pound dog.
Yeah. It was quite a big ball. It was plastic, and it was like a rubber chew toy that Thor would eat.
You know, plastic and rubber aren't the same thing.
It was, sorry, you're right. It's rubber. It was not plastic.
So it's probably heavy.
It was rubber. It was a bit heavy. So my
I know this story. That's what I'm saying. I'm defending your dad here.
Listen, in retrospect, I get it. I've been like, literally, fuck you. So when we were younger, and I wasn't even that young, like I'm pretty sure I was a teenager. Like I was in high school.
Guarantee you were.
So my parents had like a huge main foyer, and like the top of the stairs, you had like the second floor, but there was a hallway that looked over down to the foyways. The foyways. So you could see the main floor. And
my
like,
foyways white song.
My dad was like in the main floor, and for whatever fucking reason, I thought it would be funny to throw Thor's ball down at him to like scare him.
5-pound rubber.
It's not
chew
5
toy.
pounds. So I threw it at him.
Concussion.
And I was just trying to get his attention to like giggle or laugh because he was so grumpy, and it fucking hits him in the head, and he looks up at me and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like he was so fucking mad.
What the fuck?
Like said it like 3 times. First of all, my dad like never swore. He never got mad at me. I was like, did did I stab him in the eye? Like, what the fuck? It's a doll. It's a dog toy. I'm like, Dad. He's like, what? And like just starts losing it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, and so then I kind of start laughing because he's so mad. So then I see my brother, and my brother's staring at me, and I'm like, you don't fucking look at me right now, because like I'm gonna be murdered. Like, he was so mad. Again, in
Rick,
retrospect now, I get it.
it.
I would have taken that ball and threw it back in my face after being a parent. Like, it's just, you reach a tea kettle max before
And
you're
you know
out.
what? The sad thing about it is, and I know this will happen one day with the kids, they're having a good time.
Yeah.
They're loving life. You come in the door, your day is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely terrible. They have this high energy, positive energy. You're not ready for it. And then you get hit in the head with a mallet.
Okay.
I get it. Rick, I get it.
All right. This
Anyways,
is fun.
parenting is hard.
It is so
Life is
hard.
hard. Going out is hard.
Just
Service
survive.
industry is not there.
Survive. We see you.
It's not even called the service industry anymore. It's just called the industry.
the industry's
When you
there.
go out to the industry for dinner, enjoy it.
If you can.
You might have to serve yourself, but enjoy it. These industries. Yeah, peace out,
All
A-Town.
right. Bye.
Peace out.
There goes a sight from my soul.